Hey everybody, it's Master Gallengeist here, bringing you my review of the anime Attack on Titan. And it's kind of weird to say that I enjoyed this, because there were some negatives that kind of drew me out of it, especially towards the end. What I kind of really liked was that it did adhere to an overall tone of like the apocalyptic threat of the Titans trying to kill all these people and eat them and all that, and kind of like the mystery behind the threat. That kind of was done in a kind of slow burn kind of way that I kind of liked. But once we started kind of getting at least answers, or at least thrown some answers to certain questions, it started to kind of unravel. Because it started off interesting enough. We see this kind of like walled off world because they need the walls to protect them from Titans, and they don't know exactly where they came from, but it's affected everybody's like perception of the world, because they have like these three different kind of military branches, and one of those branches is a scouting force that goes out and tries to reclaim territory for humans. This is the only kind of like settlement of humans that this particular group knows of, so they think that they're the last hope of humanity. And we are introduced to Eren Yeager and his friend Armin and his kind of pseudo sister slash girlfriend Mikasa. And that's done well enough. We get kind of like Eren's anger and all that, and get to see like everything else associated with the three main characters that we got. And we see that like Armin's kind of like very timid, and does not seem assured of himself at all. I mean, he's smart and he wants to see the outside world, but he doesn't do anything to protect himself. And Mikasa is very overly protective of Eren, and actually, even though you would think that that makes her kind of one note, it kind of makes her kind of a more complex character, because Eren throughout the whole thing is only done with anger. And I was looking forward to more kind of stuff, but at least other kind of emotions and whatnot. I mean, he does freak out in certain respects, but it's almost always in an angry outburst, and always towards his field goal of killing all the Titans, because out of nowhere, Titans breach the wall, eat his mother, pretty much force everybody back, because there's three walls. They were on the outermost wall and are pushed further in, and this fort has him do the goal of becoming a scout for the scouting regiment and killing all Titans. And that's about the extent of his character development, incidentally enough, and he is supposed to be the main character. And that's like, okay. And what happens into effect is that it becomes really kind of strange as you keep going on, because usually when you're doing a show kind of like this, you want overall consistent tone. You do have that pervading sense of tension and anxiety over when will the Titans come through the walls and everything and kill us all. But when that becomes the main, when there's no breaking up of that, very light breaking up, some kind of funny humor and all that, you just become numb to it at a certain degree. If that was supposed to show how numb people are kind of trying to becoming towards the Titans until they see him again and then enter shit pants mode, I guess, but it doesn't really work that way. You kind of get some funny things with certain characters, like wanting food and taking food and eating it, and just like acting kind of stupid. It kind of works, but it doesn't break the tension enough that you're like, oh, okay, this will get us out of this kind of like Titan rut, and then it's like more Titans, and we lose more people in this than like Game of Thrones. Like, I would just learn a dude's name or a woman's name, and they'd just be done in either that episode or like a couple episodes going on. And it was just like, death needs to serve a purpose more than just to have it as shock value. Otherwise, if you keep using it, it starts losing its edge, because at a certain point, you start to realize that a core group are kind of safe, even though you kind of get the shocker of Eren being eaten by a Titan at one point. You're like, the fuck happened there? And then becoming a Titan and like killing all these Titans, which incidentally enough is the only time he's truly ever gotten onto his goal of killing Titans. He killed like 20 Titans by himself or whatnot, or that was kind of what was thrown around, but there's just too much tension to a degree. Granted, it works setting the tone of the apocalypse of this world, but when that is just done for like 25 episodes, where everybody is like on edge and every character is like, I don't want to die, I don't want to die, I don't want to die. Yes, we realize you all don't want to die, but having it like repeated over and over kind of like loses its edge and like, you know what, I'm almost ready for you to die. And seeing like certain, like there was this advanced special unit led by this Captain Levi. All of them were like wiped out by this mysterious female Titan that appears, who you find out later was a person that was in the cadet squadron that was with Eren and his group. And it's just like, why is there a person that can turn into a Titan inside the walls? I thought it was going to take a different kind of approach and kind of explain a little bit that the heads of the government were kind of like in charge and letting the Titans kind of come and attack and everything, but we don't get that kind of rationale. We don't get any answers of why she was in there, because she like crystallized herself after Eren was fighting and beating the crap out of her after he finally figured out an upper hand. It was just really kind of like, okay, I don't need to get all answers at once, but it's just like, what's going on with this? It's like, okay, you're inside there, but you have a Titan ability. Why not? You are pretty much in the center of the thing. What's the end goal? If the end goal isn't of Titans like devouring people or whatnot, what is? And of course, I don't need this all out in the open, but it just starts creating like things that you're like, what's going on? And then seeing the final shot at the end that she was trying to crawl over the wall, you see that there are Titans in the wall. And that's just like, what? Why are the walls made out of Titans? It's just like, you've had this overall tone of like just trying to survive against these Titans, and then when you start actually packing into the mystery, it's just like, huh? Why? What's this purpose? Why is this here? What? I mean, I understand that you could use it for like plot twisty effects, but yet a plot twist for the sake of a plot twist kind of like undoes it. Also with some of the stuff that's done politically wise, like the people who believe that the walls were created by God, and to not do anything to the walls whatsoever, like put cannons on it or anything, or even defend them against Titans, kind of is, I understand that the overall goal is to show like religious zealotry, but it almost goes into a kind of farcical kind of realm in that, wouldn't you want things on the wall to protect it from the giant things trying to damage it more than you as people putting things on it to damage it? It was just like, okay, which led to a funny scene of when Eren and the female Titan were fighting, he like threw her and accidentally like crushed everybody on it. And I was like, oh, okay, that's kind of weird, kind of funny, and then it's going kind of on. It's just, I didn't hate this anime or felt as a strong dislike of it as, like, say, Black Butler or Vampire Knight, because this one at least focused more on doing the right things of showing, like, the Titans and people fighting the Titans and kind of getting that action and having that overall sense of dread and tension. I just wish that it was worked a little bit better so that way it wasn't just a long stretch of that tension with very little peaks and valleys to like get you out of it, to make it that when you saw Titan again, you were afraid for people. Because towards the end of it, I'm just like, oh, Titan, somebody's gonna die. And then you would see people die, though towards the end, they did get really creative with the female Titan and how she was taking people out. That really kind of made up for it, and then also kind of seeing Eren get better at controlling his Titan form and all that, but it's very hard for me to recommend this because it doesn't go deep enough, in my opinion, for what's going on. Granted, that could change in Season 2, but that depends upon the execution and all that, and I have read what happens in the mangas, and it kind of just gets strange, in my opinion, with how Titans are handled and Titan powers, and it's just like, okay, evidently somebody didn't think it was going to go too far or didn't understand where they wanted to take the story as they were making it, and then just kind of started running with it. And granted, in certain respects, and in certain genres and animes, that works, and that you just get this crazy new thing that, like, works, and it's like, okay, it's built into the anime and the manga at that point, it works. Here, though, it kind of really doesn't. You set it up for a kind of almost realistic take, and then once it starts getting to the point where, like, other people start getting powers for who knows what reasons, you're just like, it kind of takes you out of it a little bit. But that's kind of in the future of what they're doing, and I just don't know if it'll be executed well enough to recommend. So if you're looking for something with kind of like giant monsters and people fighting giant monsters, sure, this would be a pretty good one to just watch, just to see, like, Titan carnage and, like, people fighting Titans, and then, of course, towards the end, it's Titan on Titan action. But if you're looking for a deep story or whatnot, or complex character development, you're not going to get that much here. People barely change from the beginning to the end, except for, like, Mikasa understanding her feelings towards Eren, and Armin becoming more confident towards the end, though not much. There's very little character development throughout most of it, mainly because a lot of people die. And it's just like, okay, I guess that's their development. So those are my opinions on the anime. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Also, like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.